Good evening, everyone. It is Monday, June 11th. Samantha B and I are going to kind of go back to the basics with the experiment and lifestylers. So, Samantha B, you are live and in person.
Okay, so before I get into what I'm going to talk about, um, this past weekend we did a little surprise birthday party for my father-in-law, and we went to a buffet, and my husband ate 10 pounds of food, at least maybe a minimum of 10 pounds of food, to the point where he was pushing to get more food into him, because I think it was like a certain price that you got like alcohol and food, and it was obviously all you can eat. It's a buffet, so on and so forth. And it wasn't that great of food, to be honest. There was options, but it wasn't like we were being catered by this world-renowned chef or something that literally you're going to be missing out in life. And his mentality, even though he tends to eat fairly well, if he has the opportunity to binge because it seems socially accepted to do so because people are doing it around him, um, that's what he does. So that's the first part of that. The second part is that my father-in-law has a little bit of a condition going on that he's trying to resolve, and the opportunity to bring him to a meal that he could drink alcohol and eat things that were poorly was the option that was chosen. So not a great recommendation for that for a support system. And then thirdly, there was alcohol involved. So I think my sister-in-law might have had 5 desserts. And I rarely see her eat ever. I had barely anything to eat because I didn't think the food was all that great, and I had a daughter that was going nuts, and I had already eaten before because I didn't know, and I wasn't going to wait until 11 to have breakfast, because I just knew I probably was just going to have a normal meal. I wasn't going to have anything because I was going to be pressured into whatever was going to happen for that dinner. For no reason did I feel any type of pressure. So this kind of leads me into our whole thing. I have never went through a training cycle, which I usually train into a 4, 8, or 12-week cycle, without having a poor workout inside there. I've never been into a 4, 8, or 12-week cycle without not wanting to go to the gym. I desperately didn't want to go to the gym today. I even thought about maybe pushing it back till tomorrow and then having to double up back-to-back days, which I really don't like doing. But honestly, you guys really motivated me to go because I heard a lot of people say, oh, blah, 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 I've got this, that, and the other thing, blah, blah, blah. But the bottom line, and I wrote this on our Facebook page, is there is never going to be a time when exercising regularly is going to be easy. You're never, ever going to say every single day, oh, what a great day to really challenge myself. Some days you're not going to want to do it. Some days it would be much easier to have a beautiful cup of coffee, sit on the couch, watch Netflix, play with your dog, read a book, whatever it is that you like to do, and completely avoid what you need to do. That would be very easy most of the time. But what it's not going to do is give you the lifestyle that you are aiming to achieve by entering Mama G's lifestyle. I have the ability to, I'm never worried about my back. I'm never worried about being able to do something. I never worry that something's going to be too much. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that because I've worked really hard to be where I'm at right now so that I can have this lifestyle that I'm the go-to person for, even if it's me and my husband as a choice. I'm the one they're going to ask to help bring something in or put something over there or so on and so forth. He's always going to have this crutch of, I'm a nurse, I don't want to hurt my back, when his back's just very weak because he doesn't challenge it. When it comes to getting to where this level is, it takes commitment, it takes being uncomfortable, but it definitely takes making a plan. So I really thought about it, and my life for the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years, I've been scheduled on the hour for as long as I can remember. From 5 to 6, I'm going to get up. I literally set an alarm clock for every 15 minutes, and I have targets of what I need to get done within those 15 minutes. So at 4:30 a.m. is my first alarm that goes off. 4:30 to 4:45, I want to be brushed teeth, dressed, and out of my bedroom. From 4:45 to 5 o'clock, I want my coffee made, my breakfast made, and by 5 o'clock, if I'm not sitting and eating already, then I need to be walking downstairs and eating in the car. So I have like things that need to happen. If I don't get to work before 5:15, then I need to roll out in between or with my client. There's just things that I've been very accustomed to doing because I'm very regiment on my hour to hour. Now, when it comes into getting in my own fitness, before I had anybody else that I had to think about, I used to train whenever I wanted to train, whenever it felt good. When I went back to work 5 weeks after having my daughter, I wanted to train then. I did not want to wait. I wanted to start walking regularly. I wanted to start doing biceps regularly. I wanted to start doing something that I knew I could do that wasn't exposing my core so much. So I had to put in a slot. I had to say, okay, if I'm going to have a client that finishes at 7:30 and I need to be out the door at 7:45 to get back home at 8 to blah, 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 I have 30 minutes. And those 30 minutes, I need to have a plan. If I do not have a plan, I'm not going to be successful. I'm going to fart around. I'm going to talk. I'm going to go to the bathroom and sit there and look at my phone for way too long and waste all this time. So I've always worked off of somewhat of a program, but I have now really distinct what I need to do to hit my goals. And the first thing that gets cut out is not going to be my mobility, and it's not going to be my core work, and it's not going to be what my goal is right now and specific lifting things. What would be cut out would be something that I don't necessarily need, and that would be any extra cardio that I had to have. That's not meaning that I'm in the first month of the experiment. It means that I'm 8 months postpartum, which means that I'm almost 3 times through the experiment because I've been cycling through about a 3-month mesocycle. So that means that if that's my goal right now is to be working on one specific thing, then I should know at least where that goes. So the reason that you have myself and the reason why you have Gina is to help you navigate those things. But the simplest thing is don't try to confuse yourself. If you don't prepare what you need to do for the week ahead, it's going to be tough. There's no way that it's not going to be tough. If you don't know what you need to be doing, then that's where you need to advocate. And that brings us back to where we had our conversation last week. I had a couple interesting things that people said to me about like programming and getting things done and blah, blah, blah. And they said, I'm really comfortable with what I'm doing right now. And that's great. Being comfortable doesn't mean you will make any progress. Being comfortable means that you're going to stay where you're at. Being comfortable means you potentially will hit what's called a metabolic norm, and your body will get used to what you're doing. Now, if exercise is really new to you, that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. It usually takes a while. That's why we've said to people that have walked the beach trail that probably walking the beach trail is no longer going to be your mode of exercise unless you have a heart rate monitor on and unless you know what zone you're working at. For those of you guys that have been doing some other type of exercise, you're not from San Clemente, that you've been very used to, but you're staying the same, it's a good idea to pull back, maybe add some lower intensity cardiovascular exercise, maybe add some strength training that's based on applied resistance and trying to actually get better in whatever variation of movement that you're working on. So when we're talking about building it into basics and bringing it back to basics, the experiment was based on the theory of this. The majority of our experimenters, and that's not everybody, is kind of like our couch to 5K people. A couch to 5K person to me is that you, sit down please. A couch to 5K person to me means that you never exercise regularly, that you were maybe doing 1 to 2 exercise sessions a week, maybe, but it wasn't in your priority, okay? So when you started, the experiment, you're going to go on this 90-day extravaganza of figuring out how to eat and how to move your body. Doing more is not better. If you start off trying to go for 15 hours of exercise with all this HIIT training, all this, guess what's going to happen? One, where are you going to grow to? Two, are you going to feel like absolute crap for the first 30 to 60, maybe even the full 90 days because you're overdoing your body? The idea behind really bringing it into a basic, steady state, moving your body, hitting the gym regularly, the idea behind it was that we wanted you to start consistently moving your body and seeing how it reacts, and for you to start being in tune with yourself. So if, for example, we have a Logan, this is really enough. We have somebody that said that that they hurt their toe, whether it was with the experiment exercise or not. This is a good opportunity to go back into the base whenever you have an injury. Great opportunity to go back to base movement. Anything that doesn't cause you pain. So an elliptical, a treadmill, whatever it happens to be, no matter what your situation is, you would then build that base back up to wherever you were, but you would grow underneath it. So believe it or not, if your heart rate is staying below that upper two zones for a longer duration of 20 minutes or more, you're actually doing for your heart because it's being able to withstand a higher heart rate for a longer time than you're used to. The reason why your low intensity, steady state cardiovascular exercise is outside of those two recovery zones is because you don't hit that heart rate regularly in your activities of daily living. So if I'm going to go to the mall or if I'm going to go to the grocery store, my heart rate might have a small spike if I'm doing something out of the norm, but it would never stay in that third to fourth level of my heart rate zone because I'm not pushing myself in my cardio zone. So by doing steady state exercise in those zones for a longer duration, you'll be building up what that is that cardiovascular endurance. And that's how you're going to be able to grow higher and higher when you're doing your intervals. That's how you're going to be able to recover better. So let's bring it back to basics. When you started the experiment, some of us might have went out too hard. That's fine. Is it a problem? No. Can you rewind? Yes. If you moved into your 60 to 90 days and didn't incorporate any strength training, can you catch up? No. No. Can you make up? No. Can you catch up? Sure. But you still would need to start from day one. So the way this whole thing works is consistency. So let's make it really easy because you've done this with food before, I'm sure. If you eat really good for 2 weeks and then eat like crap for a week, are you still living Mama G's lifestyle? No, you are not. It's all about consistently eating. Now, if you are eating really well and you, like Diana, she ate really well for I don't even know how long now, 8 months-ish, and then she had some french fries and ice cream. Is it over? No. She's been doing so well that those things won't affect her as they used to in the past because it was constantly going up and down. Is it going to derail the situation? Absolutely not. Should she feel bad? Absolutely not. But it can be thought of as a little treat. So that's kind of the premises. So if you think of your exercise the same way, that if you're constantly doing your exercise and you're being consistent about it, then you're good. If you're not progressing it, if you're not doing something more that's challenging you a little bit more as the months go on, then what are you doing? Why would you think you were going to be any better for the rest? If you were just going to do the same exact thing over and over, where's the growth? There is no problem if you enjoy going on a bike ride for the majority of your exercise. But we want you to understand that if you've neglected your upper body and lower body strength, maybe you're suffering from lower cross or upper cross syndrome, where you're too tight in the front of your body, too weak on the back side of your body. Maybe you have a sore low back. Maybe you have a sore neck. Maybe you have impingement in your shoulders. Maybe you have all these issues, but you're not taking the time to actually strengthen the structures around it. That's on you. We're telling you, you need to combine cardiovascular exercise, strength training, and mobility in order to be better for the rest. If you're choosing to only do cardiovascular exercise, you're choosing to not be better for the rest. Bottom line. Is there any perfect regime? No. That's why up until this point, I've said, and I've worked with people to say, you can go do this, you can go do that. I don't believe that I'm the world's best trainer. I think that I'm a very good trainer. I think that I'm very adaptable. I think that I can help anyone if they'd send me videos, but I rarely see any. But I don't want you to feel like you have to do one form of anything. You need to be doing something that challenges you, and that's the bottom of the line, okay? With that being said, let me look at my sheet. Progression versus regression with cardio, mobility, and strength. So when I say the words, and I want to make sure you understand what I'm saying, when I say the word progression, I'm not necessarily talking about always trying to do the hardest thing that you possibly can every single time that you work out. When I'm talking about progression, I'm talking about challenging yourself in a way that makes sense, that's very calculated, very basic outline. And that's what I've been giving to people, is starting with 5, going to 8, going to 10, going to 12, that it goes up on a linear scale, and then you would pull back and build back up. And then maybe you'd start a little higher. You would never just keep trying to go progression, 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 okay? Progression can also mean that if you, for an example, are doing a push-up from your knees, that maybe when you finished a full program from push-up on your knees, that the next time that you did the program, you would then try to do push-ups from your toes down and then up from your knees and take the next step. So progression could mean multiple things. Now, regression, it can be used the same type of way. When you regress, you could call it deload, and deloading means having an easier week. So only working up to a certain spot and then giving yourself a break. So if you're training for, let's just say the couch to 5K thing, you're never going to run that 5K and then run a 5K again and again and again and again. You're going to rest afterwards because your body has done the work that you decided to challenge it to do, and then it deserves a break. Our bodies aren't meant to just, we're not indestructible. We are close, but we need to treat our body with respect. So regression could also mean taking modifications when need be. So I was having a great conversation with a woman that actually had implants, and we were talking about just pectorals and how she couldn't believe how hard it was to do different variations of push-ups because she had just had surgery on her breast. And I was like, I had the same feeling with after I had my baby. I thought once the baby came out that I could just sit up. I thought, oh, she's out of the way now, I should just be able to sit up again. And that wasn't the case. So I was used to being able to do exercises like a sit up, and I now could no longer do them. If I were to just push myself to do that sit up without regressing myself back, I wouldn't have built the foundation in order to grow into that movement. I would have been using adaptive change in other areas of my body in order to do that. So I wouldn't have been working on my core. I would have been using things like my hip flexors or maybe something in my back to help pull myself up, which ideally wasn't going to make me better for the rest. So if you don't know the regression, you can definitely ask. And that's where videos really will help you. So if you're getting ready to start your mobility and you get this video of me doing a little segment, or maybe we do the mobility segment this week where I'm going to do it so you guys can do it along with me if you'd like. And say you don't want to show me at that point, send me a video. I'm here to help. And if you don't know, going like this and telling me that you think you know, I think I'm doing it really good, I think. Unless you know, let me help you do that. Regression is the only way to get better. And a lot of times people think progression is the only way you can get stronger. If you don't have regression with progression, you've got nothing to grow on. So I really hope that you guys can find peace with taking your plank down to your knees, taking your planks into a quadruped, using more control versus less intensity with your bird dogs. Because it really is aimed to help you build so that you won't always have to do that variation forever. With that being said, when we talk about progression and regression, it has the same case in mobility. So I had somebody say to me this week about the shoulder circles, that when they were doing their shoulder circles, they said that it looked more like a D than a circle. Number one, what a great opportunity to send me a video, because I definitely would have said, one, I have no idea if their arms are locked. I have no idea if they're actually trying to pull out a double joint. What that means is trying to use your elbow to come around versus your shoulder. And I have no idea if I should be telling them to limit mobility. So if you ever watch a video, whether it's me doing something, maybe it's another one of our experimentees or lifestylers putting a video up of them doing something, and you don't look exactly like them, do you question what you do? Do you question if it's right? You should. If you don't know very much about the basics and foundational movement, and you're not looking like, say, me showing your shoulder circles, you should say to yourself and ask, why are my arms not doing that? Those are the questions that will help you understand what's limiting you in your strength. Because remember, mobility comes before strength. So I'm going to stay on the topic of that shoulder circle for a second, because a lot of times people neglect a joint because they, one, don't know, two, they don't ask the questions, and three, they don't take the regression. So if I was going to be working through that joint and that pattern gets stuck right here, I have a lot of clients right now that can't do a shoulder circle. And that's not to say they shouldn't do it. I have a variation where, one, they can use a band that can pull out really, really wide, that they would literally just be pulling back here, and that would start opening up their pec. But two, we can start really thinking about what is it that's blocking it? Is it something structurally? Is it something muscularly? Is it something that is in the front of their body, in their back? If we don't start dissecting those things now, it's only going to get worse. I volunteered for something called Partners of Rural America through college, and it was called Project Band-Aid. And I used to go down to the Dominican Republic and provide musculoskeletal care for very, very rural parts of the community in the Dominican. And I can remember walking, this is a legit true story, miles with machetes in our hands, backpacks with supplies, and I didn't speak a lick of Spanish. I still don't. And my interpreter came up, and the chief of the whole place said they could only tell us one complaint, and because they all had so many complaints, they never had a doctor. And this guy's complaint was, he said, my wife can't move her head. And we said, oh, well, that's interesting. And she literally had a frozen neck. I've never seen this. This is like the beautiful thing about going into these rural parts of the community that don't have medical attention. They don't have the opportunities that we do to pay attention to these type of things. 7 years or 10 years ago, before when I had met her at that time, she hurt her neck. She did something and it hurt. And she decided to never move it. And so what she did was she went like this to protect it. She had her traps engaged so they could support it. And she never moved her neck. She would only go like this. And what happened was she froze all of her facets. It was literally like rocks. We couldn't do any type of joint mobilization. She had zero lateral flexion, zero flexion and extension. And that was it. At that point, the amount of work it would have taken for us to give her relief was going to be eons. Don't be that person. She didn't have a choice. She didn't have Mama G's lifestyle. She didn't have a book. She didn't have the internet. She didn't have anything that was given to her that she could value, to appreciate, that she could have confidence in. I want you to have confidence that you're not the only one that has no idea what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to swimming. I'm the worst swimmer there ever was. I can't tell you how bad I am. But I'm not afraid, one, to do the best that I can, to go out there and make a fool out of myself. Number two, I'm not afraid to ask for help. Why? Because I want to be better. And I really want to be better at that for whatever reason. So the moral of the story is back to basics. Mama G is not taking on any new clients next month. So we're going to have an opportunity to continue growing on the page. And I want to see in the next 30 days, 60 days, is people posting videos of what they're doing. I want to see videos of you trying to do push-ups, squats, lat pull downs. It's not super crazy for you to either ask your friend, set your phone up, or do whatever so that we can see a video of what you're doing to help you get better. I will shout out to Millie in New York because she has sent me videos of chest flies and let me think. I almost feel like I see a lot of videos because I have a lot of online programming that comes in. So I constantly am watching content of videos, but not very many of people doing program 1 or 2. Logan and I would love to see some videos of you guys, core rehab, mobility exercises, anything that you have a question on that we can help get you to, one, feel confident, two, be consistent. So this is, or I am Samantha B. You are better for the rest. Reggie, you're up.
Yeah, well, you got 3 minutes. So number one, can you just reiterate the basic game plan, month 1, month 2, month 3?
Yeah. So hopefully by the end of this week, this will actually be on the website now. Instead of getting the program sent to you via email, you'll be able to just go on there and you'll be classified as, and I don't want you to take this in a bad way or not, it's just a way for you to figure out where you fit in at that point coming in, is the couch potato that you hadn't done any exercise, the medium exerciser, or the regular exerciser, and that's the wave that you'll go. But first 30 days, you are so focused on cardio mobility. Okay, those are the main concerns. You're already on a caloric deficit, and your food is the hardest thing for you to start getting fulfilled. You need to start going grocery shopping. You need to start figuring out how to get your stuff together. I don't want you to worry about a strength program. When you get into month 2, I do want you to worry about a strength program. I want you to worry about program 1, which would be program 1 has upper day 1 and day 2. Once you get to month 3, you will be doing program 2 that adds a interval-based day at the end of it. So like I said, hopefully this will be, I think that it will be up by the end of this week, and you'll be able to see 1, 2, and 3. If you don't know where you fit in, I'll let you know. Most of you guys already have what your program is. Actually, all of you guys should have what your program is at this time. If you have any questions, maybe because you haven't done it, then ask me. I am right here too. Logan is very mad. So, is that what you wanted me to say? So if you need me to post it before then, but what's today? Hopefully before Thursday, I'll have that stuff up. So that's my goal for tomorrow and Wednesday, to get that up on the website with PDFs that you can either print out and ask questions on. But I want to see you guys sending some videos of questions, concerns, comments, of just you doing the movements, and we can, and I'll really appreciate everybody giving the thumbs up, but I appreciate constructive criticism to get better. Okay. With that being said,
Logan wants to see me. There, we'll mute you. All right. So, is this the look of somebody who's frazzled, frustrated? Got their stuff on. Who's not muted? Nice music, but we're getting rid of you. Anyway, what a day. Man, I should have been paid $1 million for my efforts today, but I wasn't. So let's just say this. Let me talk about my workouts. How I feel about my workouts. You think I'm thrilled going to my workouts? No, I'm not. I do enjoy my workouts now with Samantha B, like Lisa Photo does, because she does cheer me on and critique me and make me stronger. And I've seen great success there. So, yes, it's hard, but I actually look forward to those. But you think that my sludging, getting ready for this big trifecta weekend, where I'm having to work out 5-6 days a week, running 10 miles on my own, having to go to the gym, do strength training, come back, go to the family, go to 24-hour fitness, do this, that, and the other thing. There's suffering involved, folks. I have big goals for myself. It never gets easier, but I have goals. So that's why I do it. And I don't expect you to want to train at the level that I train or at the level that Sam trains. But you do have the capability to have dreams and hopes and goals in terms of your fitness capabilities. And Samantha B is the one that can get you there. But guess where it starts? It gets by committing to that, cardiovascular exercise month 1, and then adding in that strength training and mobility month 2, and finding, what are we asking of you? We're asking of 5 hours in a week. Come on, folks. You got 5 hours in a week. I've gotten up at 4 o'clock in the morning to start my 18-mile run last year when I was training for the Ultra Beast. You think that I want to get up at that time? You think I want to run with a headlight in my head because it's dark out and I got to be home by a certain time because I got stuff to do and work to do and school to do? Nope. But I have a goal. And tell you what, once I set a goal, I'm going to get that goal done. So here's the other thing I have to say about workouts. Pretty much every workout you're going to go into, probably not going to want to go to it unless you've got a friend holding your hand and doing it with you. On the other side of it, you will never, ever, ever come out of a workout going, oh, I should never have done that workout. Never, never, ever, ever. I hate the sweat dripping down my elbow. That's like one of the things I really hate. I always go, oh, drippy, sweaty elbows. But I love when a workout's over. Ain't nothing better than a workout's over. So anyway, so Diana kind of started us off with the little bit of, this is what she said ultimately. Why do I even have to think about this stuff all of the time? Well, guess what? Majority of the world's population doesn't think about this stuff. In other words, what you're putting in your mouth and how you're treating your body in terms of your fitness and self-care. And that's why the majority of the population is overweight and sitting obese and likely going to die of heart disease, stroke, cancer, diabetes, or the like. Personally, I prefer to reduce my risk factor of things that are preventable. And guess what? By actually thinking about this stuff all of the time, that's how you're going to get there. Now, eventually, I don't want the food to be a burden to you. I cannot wait to get back to my eating healthy food if I'm in a situation where I don't have it. For instance, when I went to Japan with my husband a year and a half ago, the food was terrible. Very difficult to find the food that I like, and could not wait to get home to my normal routine. 2 weeks ago, on a Friday night, Mark and I went to a cooking class where I ingested some white shit and some beef, which I can't stand doing, because literally the next morning I had to run 10 miles and it was late and I knew I had to eat it. Do you think I liked it? Not one bit of me. Did I eat beautifully the rest of the day? Yeah, still hated that I even participated in the white stuff. The next night, Mark and I went to a fundraiser where I knew I wasn't going to eat the prime rib dinner, and I figured I'd have the vegetarian lasagna. Well, guess what? Definitely white, crappy pasta, and there was like a cream sauce in the vegetarian lasagna. How do you ruin vegetarian lasagna? And then they had a stupid Caesar salad. I was not a happy person. By the way, didn't have dessert for sure. And then the next night, We were at Mary's reveal party where I cooked a beautiful meal. Samantha B had planned shish kebab, well, kebabs with chicken, which we did, and veggies, and an orzo salad. It was great. But that night we were beat, and they all wanted pizza, so I bought pizza, and I had 2 pieces of white pizza with light on the cheese, and I stuffed it with veggies and all kinds of stuff on top. But that was 3 days of me ingesting white something, and I hate white shit. Yes, I'm racist. Do you think I liked it? Not at all. Could I not wait to go back to my normal? Yes, I love my normal, nutritious and delicious, healthy food. And it makes me happy, and I can't wait to cook dinner tonight and get my delicious food in. I've had a beautiful day of food, and most of my days are beautiful days of food, and only sometimes do I have to stray. Sometimes on purpose, most of the time because I don't want to. So that being said, yes, if you want to live a long, healthy life and be better for the rest and actually choose to potentially, die of a long, healthy life and old age, unless, something happens out of our control, then you have to think about this stuff all the time. So that being said, another one of our gals, Michelle Suggs, talked about fear of everything. Fear of not working out every day of the week, fear of eating the wrong thing, fear of going on vacation, and what's that going to look like in Ireland? Well, you know what I'm going to tell you, Michelle? You have no excuse for not doing your exercise, all right? And the exercise does not count walking around Ireland and touring whatever. It means every morning you should get up early and go do a rock run, some kind of component where you're getting your heart rate up. You've got your heart rate monitor. You can actually see what your calorie burn looks like and how you're challenging your heart rate. You and your daughter can do some little HIIT workouts. You could easily get on the internet. I don't know what it's like when you're in Europe, but pretty much guarantee you can get on the internet and Google HIIT training, no body weight, and you can put 30 minutes in or an hour, and you guys are going to be able to jumping jack and squats and push-ups and lunges and all kinds of things. Get that heart rate up, and you'll do it together. And maybe you'll pick an activity, you'll do it for a minute, and then Kelsey will pick the activity for a minute. So I don't want to hear anything about the exercise. In terms of the food, we have no idea what this is going to look like. One thing I would recommend is bring stuff for breakfast. And easy enough is to bring the stuff for power oats. You measure a half cup of your oats, you measure your nuts and your fruit, your dried fruit, and you hopefully can get milk or some kind of dairy product when you get there. And you stop at fruit and vegetable stands and you eat raw cucumbers and carrots and peppers and do whatever you can if you can't get stuff in the restaurants that you're going to be at. You do the best you can. Guess what? You will be perfectly fine. It's a challenge. You're going to come back and you're going to tell us all how it worked. And I have no problem in assuming that you will at least maintain, if not potentially continue on that weight loss journey on your trip. Felicia had a lot of excuses about graduations and kids in town from being away at college and graduations and all the motions that were going on. And now she's back alone again. But then she talked about her family going on vacation together, which means you're going to all be back together, and not wanting to have to be perfect all the time. Phew, man, you guys like to worry about all kinds of stuff. You need to take a deep breath. Number one, you got a really busy day? I tell you one thing, I know for sure that the teenagers and the young adults don't get up early. So guess what? Get up early and get your workout in. There's no excuse at all for not getting your workouts in, period. I don't want to hear about it, okay? In terms of the food, you should be eating your normal breakfast. If you go out somewhere with people, you send me the menu. I'm going to be there right there to help you make choices, all right? So you got to plan. You got to think ahead. If you're going to events, she's at a thing tonight. She asked me what she should have. She was at Mexican food. I said, get the chicken or the shrimp fajitas. Eat half of it. Get corn tortillas. Have 3 of them. Get lots of salsa. Get sparkling water with lime in it so you look like you're drinking a drink. Not a big deal, folks. Treat your body respectfully. Not asking you to starve yourself. I'm not asking you to eat crappy food. You just got to be mindful and calculated. Lisa Photo talked about how she loves her training with Sam. Perfect, but not everybody can have a Sam. And how she, really has to force herself to do her cardiovascular workouts. Again, I don't know what to tell you. It's your job to treat your body respectfully and get your workouts in. It's at most 5 hours a week. Break it up however you can. Break it up in a day. I prefer to knock it all out in the morning because I don't want to be doing anything else. I want to get home. I want to take my bath. I want to put on my makeup because guess what? At 55, if you think that I look in the mirror and think, man, you look great, I don't feel that way. I am vain, Sherry. I don't think I look great. I see things, even though my eyes aren't that great, that I don't want to see, and it sucks. And you guys are going, if you feel that way, Mama G, what do you think we feel? I don't want to hear about it. I am vain. It is a problem, and I deal with my own shit every single day. I am all ramped up again. You guys kept me all fired up. Anyway, we all got the crap in our head, whining around. You got to get out of your own head. And by the way, I had to go to therapy last week. I had to hash it out with my therapist. And guess what? I am the first one to advocate for me and advocate for you. If you need help from Samantha, from me, from anyone in the group, we are here to hold your hand. If you need outside help, I will be there to give you advice. I love giving advice. I love telling people what to do. So, Lisa Photo, too bad you don't like doing your cardiovascular exercise because guess what? You do it every single week. You've done it religiously since you started with me in September, and you have been on the slow, steady decline. And now guess what? You're approaching where you want to be in terms of your body weight. Your health has already gotten to where you want to be, and you're now planning skiing trips with your family and your grandchildren next winter. So it doesn't look any better to me. And like Michelle Suggs said, find an Orange Theory. Go to an exercise class at your gym. Do something else. Don't claim finances, folks, because we live in a society where we spend way too much money. Things are way too easily accessible on things like Amazon. Oh, I need toilet paper. Amazon Prime, send it to me. Relax, folks. All right? All right, let's get a handle on our budgets. If you don't feel like you have a handle on your financial budgets, then I'm going to say if you go to DaveRamsey.com and let Dave Ramsey give you the tools for all of $109 for a 8-week class, which is one of the best investments you will ever meet to find your financial peace. I'm a huge believer in advocating for yourself in that manner as well. So if you need advice on getting a handle on your finances, I will send you to the right place. Wendy talked about she wants results faster. It's not fast enough. Well, I'm going to say this. When did you all start deciding to take care of yourselves? Some of you wasn't until some point this year. Matter of fact, the majority of you didn't start thinking about what you were putting in your mouth, how you're treating your body, how you exercise old ticker and all those beautiful muscles that live in your body, right? So how fast do you expect it to happen? I want to know how many years, months, weeks that you've been treating your body disrespectfully. That's what I want to know. And then after you've treated your body respectfully for that same amount of time and you haven't reached your goal, then you can talk to me. But by the way, guarantee that your couple of weeks in the Mama G lifestyle has not been anywhere near the amount of time you've treated your body respectfully. So cut it out. Be realistic. Put your head down. I know it's tough work to shop and prep and do all of those things. There's no way that your food should be boring. You make a recipe. You should be able to knock out a few meals for yourself. No problem. There's no way the food's not satisfying. There's no way like I'm doing tonight. I have 2 pork chops that I took out of the freezer. They are now defrosted because I took them out earlier in the day. I'm going to figure out some kind of starchy grainy. It's probably going to be a little potato that I'm going to throw in the microwave. Then I'm going to put a little olive oil in a pan, and I'm going to crush the potato. I'm going to get it really crispy, little salt, pepper, red pepper flakes. I'm going to flip it over, do the same thing. I'm going to sprinkle a little fresh dill on there with my little pan-seared pork chops, probably like 2 or 3 ounces, remember. And then I'm going to find a vegetable in my refrigerator, and I already know what it's going to be. It's going to be cauliflower. Then I'm going to cut up into florets. I'm going to put olive oil, salt, and pepper. I'm going to put it in the oven at 450 degrees, and I'm going to roast it until it's caramelized and beautiful and soft, and I have a beautiful, delicious, and nutritious meal. It takes me maybe 10 minutes of work to get it done. It'll probably take a half hour to actually have it ready to go, and there is nothing boring about it, but it is as basic and as simple as possible and super easy to put into MyFitnessPal. With the recipes on Mama G's, I have made it super easy for you guys. It couldn't get any easier. Where you guys fail is with your planning and with your reading of the recipe and actually following through. A recipe on Mama G's tells you exactly how to navigate it so that it hits the macros. If it already doesn't hit the macros as is, it'll tell you to add 150 calories of a starchy grainy carb or 50 calories of a non-starchy veggie to hit it. If you're confused, text me. So in all cases, especially if you're in a different time zone than me, it's better that you reach out ahead of time, that you actually pre-plan. What is that you're cooking, Sherry? It looks delicious and nutritious. All right. Oh, let me take a drink of water. Holy cow. Megan had mentioned that the cooking and the prepping and the planning is her biggest cause of weakness. It's her biggest weakness, her biggest frustration, and her biggest cause of stress. I doubt that, Megan, at all, that is your biggest cause of stress. Incorrect. It is your lack of planning that is your biggest cause of stress and making things complicated. And so let's just talk about Megan and what a beautiful job she has done since she's been with us since January. Megan was somebody that had a family history, a genetic predisposition to high blood pressure and high cholesterol. I told her that I put money on the fact that within 3 months, if she followed the game plan as we suggested, that she would be able to improve all of that. And what do you think happened? It did. She went from abnormal to normal, and her doctor and herself couldn't have been happier. Now Megan has gone back to her former athlete self, keeping up with her Orange Theory workouts, challenging herself with her running, I think a 6.5 freaking minute mile, and she's, what are you, 30 something? I don't even know. I saw her this weekend. She looked adorable. She's close to her goal in terms of what she wants her body to look like. We know for her it's going to be a matter of strength training, and we're getting close to adding food to her calories, which is always going to mess with our heads. But, the goals have shifted, and we've got to shift her food and her exercise as well. But she did beautifully at the Spartan. I told her that she was to go ahead of us, that she was to run as much as she could, and that she was to do as many obstacles as she could, and that I expected her to complete 30 burpees for every obstacle. And she did it all and finished well ahead of the rest of us. So I couldn't have been more proud of her. Krista was with us also in Minnesota doing the Spartan race. Krista has actually said some really great things on the Facebook page, so I suggest you get in and start reading and scrolling back for the last few days. She has been with us since January as well. She actually, I told her, looks like she's at goal. I'm not sure that I want her to lose any more weight per se. We need to do some redistributing, which means that she's got to start to increase her muscle mass. So we're going to do some adjusting as well. She's going to start to talk to Samantha B about what that looks like. She had said to me during the race, let me tell you that the start of the race was super steep, quarter mile uphill. Sometimes we had to be on our hands, knees, and our hands and knees. And at one point she said to me, pretty much I was going to say to you that I'm never ever doing another Spartan race. By the time she decided to tell me this, she said, I think that I'm going to take you up on that challenge of doing a trifecta in 2019, which means she's going to complete the Beast, which is 12 to 15 miles, the Sprint, which is 8 to 10 miles, and another Super, which is 3 to 5 miles. Pretty big change of heart within about a 2-hour period of time from when she went from really suffering to seeing how much fun it was and to see the people that were racing and their capabilities. We were with a whole group of young adults who were missing limbs. Young adults who had, I don't know what they're called, when you don't have legs. You guys know what I'm talking about. We saw lots of young people who were missing parts of their arms, having little stubs at their elbows or stubs at their shoulders. I saw a young man with no legs, just the mechanical legs, heave himself up the rope right next to me where I had to use my legs and his arms. A young man in his teen years. It was awesome. We saw young people with a limb missing doing burpees because they couldn't do an obstacle. Give me a break, folks. Let me tell you something about a Spartan race for those of you who will challenge yourself doing one with me someday. Number one, you will see all shapes and sizes. Number two, you see people of all ages. Number three, you see people of all limitations and strength. And the best thing about it is when you do the open category is that we help each other do the obstacle. We shared burpees. We had a lot of laughing. We had a fair amount of suffering. And it was a really, really awesome day. And I'm glad that Megan ended up guilting me into going last minute, but I took the challenge because, pretty much you know the way I am. You guys should know me by now. But anyway, so super proud of Krista. What Krista realized with the Spartan was that her limitations was her running capability. So she's going to work with Samantha B on how to improve that. Her strength was really pretty impressive. Lissa, on the other hand, we'll talk about her. I don't have Lissa on here. Lissa, on the other hand, had beautiful running, but she had been working on that in her workouts of late, and knows that she needs to work more on her strength component. So I'm sure she'll be talking to Samantha B about that. But incredibly proud of those girls. And we had a really great time together, and looking forward to the next time somebody challenges me to come out to do a race with them. Krista also mentioned that, we are adults, that we do make our own choices. We are not toddlers being told what to do or telling our mommies that I don't want to eat asparagus or Brussels sprouts or I don't like sweet potatoes. Come on, folks. And, that basically the decision to be better for the rest is right here in our old hands. Mesa, I met over the weekend. We had a meal together. It was lovely to finally meet her in person. She was with us in January and February and then bailed out because she was moving and building a home. And now they're in a temporary housing and life is busy. She's working full time. She's got kids. She's commuting. She's got a spouse who is 100% not on board with what she's doing. She doesn't know how to plan and cook and exercise and find time to do everything. And I don't know what to say, Mesa, because you got a whole support group on that Facebook page of people that are in the same boat. And the only way that you find the wherewithal to make things happen is by sharing your frustrations, sharing your vulnerabilities, and asking how the others in the group are successful at managing their times. So Mesa is back in the group with us. I'm hoping that she is going to ask for help. Lisa Marquis talked about the challenges of family and kids. She shared on the Facebook page today that one of her daughters and grandkids moved to Texas. They had made a decision to buy the house across the street from her daughter in Texas, even put their house up for sale, and then her husband changed his mind. She was devastated on all levels, I could imagine. Not only that, she was very angry with her husband. And now, she understands that at this point in her life, she's going to just have to keep traveling back and forth. What happens for Lisa when she travels is she calls that there's no time to do her exercise, that there's no time to log food. And I will say that I challenge that when you are visiting those grandchildren, they go to school, that they don't get up early per se, that there is absolutely time for you to take care of yourself. And I don't care if you have to stay up late, and I don't care if you have to get up early, or I don't care if you have to exercise in the middle of the day. There is no reason when you are visiting your grandchildren that you can't get your exercise in and that you can't prepare healthful food and eat it. All right? Lisa has done a beautiful job. Her daughter that isn't the one that had moved away is the one who joined the group with her and actually didn't follow through with it. And Lisa, on the other hand, who really was not thrilled to be doing this, but did it because her daughter talked her into it, is doing amazingly well. And Lisa, if you're on the call, I do not want you to go back to your old ways. You have made it into the promised land. You have improved your fitness level like I can't believe, and you eat beautiful, nutritious, and delicious food on a regular basis. Please do not allow you to sabotage yourself because you are sad at your circumstances. Patty as well had talked about how the planning is so difficult. She's busy, she travels for work, and she has decided to ask her family to help her do some cooking and do some shopping. And today we worked through several of our meals together. And what I saw what Patty was doing today was she was really making things kind of complicated, that she was trying to enter in multiple ingredients, like a pita and a rice and a hummus and a chicken and a this vegetable and a that. It's like, we don't have to make it so complicated, folks. Right, Patty? Let's just keep it simple. Like I talked about my dinner. Let's pick a protein. Let's do a little grill on the barbecue. Send your husband out there. Have him grill some veggies out there for you. Maybe you throw a potato or a sweet potato or cook some rice or bulgur on the stovetop or in the microwave. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it can be absolutely nutritious and delicious. And the key is to make extra food so that you can package it up, and now you got lunch for a day or two the next day. And, Patty and I are going to meet at the gym hopefully tomorrow, because I want to show Patty how, now that she has her heart rate monitor, how I want her to challenge her fitness level. I don't want her to go into the gym and work at a really low capacity. I want her, when she goes for that hour to her gym, I want her to give old Ticker a good go at it. All right. So we are here to hold your hand and help you through it. Phew. So I just talked about everybody that I wanted to, who shared that all on the website. I think the most important thing that I need to say to all of you is, do not do this alone. If you are not asking for help, if you are not texting me and saying, Gina, I have pre-logged my food for tomorrow, please help me. If you are not going to a restaurant and sending me the link to the restaurant and saying, Gina, I really don't know what to eat. I'm thinking maybe this, that, or the other thing. That's helpful when you kind of give me a few options. If you want me to pick it, I'll pick it for you. You have to plan. It's best to pre-log, even if it's just one meal at a time. I love when you guys pre-log a whole meal. I love when you do it the day before, because especially if we are on time frame differences, I get up at 6 a.m. I spent 5 hours this morning working with you guys to get things situated with your food. I really don't like to do it that way. I don't like it when I miss something, like somebody had logged her food and she had put in veggie chili, and then for some reason she put in a slice of Dave's Killer Bread. And I said, why do you do it? And she says, well, I asked you about that in the text. Well, she had asked me a million other things, and I neglected to see it. And then, of course, she went and ate it. And I said, well, we had a lot of problems here. We had, number one, we didn't follow the cheat sheet. So let me end with this. And then I'm going to open it up to any questions you have. I'm happy to stay on longer with you guys. If you need to go off, know that this is recorded, but I will stay here. And when I'm done saying this last few comments, please unmute yourself. We'll put ourselves in the gallery so we can see each other like the Brady Bunch. You're all on there like Hollywood Squares. But let me say this. When you are logging your food, please print out the cheat sheet. It is located in the files on the Facebook private page. You have several things you need to accomplish. One thing, every single meal needs to be somewhere between 350 to 400 calories. You need to utilize around 150 to 200 calories of starchy grainy carbs per meal. Eating no more than 500 calories per all 3 meals. So that means maybe 150 calories for oats at breakfast, maybe 150 calories of sweet potatoes for lunch. Now I got 200 calories of brown rice left for dinner. There's 500 calories. Split around 150 to 200 calories. Other thing is, at least 50 calories of non-starchy vegetables with your savory meals. So always lunch and dinner, but sometimes you can get in another 50 calories of non-starchy vegetables for breakfast if you're doing a more savory meal, like maybe an omelet or avocado toast or something like that, right? The other thing on there, the last thing is you must hit your macronutrients. Those carbohydrates need to be around 45 to 55%. Those fats need to be between 25 and 35%. That protein needs to be between 15 and 25%. The only way you will be successful in doing all those things I asked of you on the cheat sheet is if you actually have worked that with me. There is no way in hell that you look at that cheat sheet, go into MyFitnessPal, and try to enter all those things and figure it out. Not a chance in hell. Those macros go like this when you make a move. God forbid you make 3 moves at one time. You got things skewed all over the place. You need to ask for my help. When you do this, I promise you, you will understand it. It will become second nature to you. And within a few months of following the cheat sheet, you now will not have to log. You will not have to do anything but look at a plate and know that half of that plate's going to be filled up with non-starchy veggies. Quarter of that plate's going to have that lean protein. Quarter of that plate's going to have those non-starchy veggies, and somewhere in there, those beautiful healthy fats have come into play so that you hit those calories, hit those macronutrients, hit the food groups so that we can be better for the rest. Phew. Okay, I'm going to unspotlight me. Okay, now, la-di-dee, la-di-da. Up in the right-hand corner, you can actually put it on gallery view. You can actually show me your beautiful faces. And if you have something today to say, you can raise your hand and I will unmute you, which I just saw Kathy, I think, right? Kathy Stolenwork, did you raise your hand? All right, my friend. Oh, you're just saying hi. Okay. All right. Sherry would like to talk. Let me unmute you. All right, Sherry. Go.
Okay, I have a question. I'm like a Facebook crib, but I'm kind of like Facebook phobic. I never post anything. I don't do anything. If I post something on our experiment page, is it just on the experiment page? It's nowhere else?
Right. So it's private. Nobody can see it. Nobody can do anything. They cannot
and
see
it doesn't like go on my page?
Sherry, post it all. Nope. It's all private.
And how do I do it? I just go on there and I just...
Yeah, like at the top of the, you go to the
As
base.
long as I'm on that page, even though it's my name, it's not going anywhere else, right?
Big Brother might be watching, but as far as I know,
No one gives a hell about me, but what the hell?
we're not sharing any. We're not sharing any huge secrets, and maybe I will even look into making the group secret, which means that no, because sometimes people will like request to get on it. They can't get on it unless I allow them in. When you're secret,
No, that's okay. I just don't want like my weight graph or something to go out into the, to the world.
relax, lady.
Holy crap.
Exactly. All right. Who else? Anybody else want to raise their hand? Anybody else? Kathy, you had Kathy Stollenberg. You had something good to say, didn't you? Didn't you have something you could share? Let me find you on here and unmute you. Okay, I think you had a few good points to make.
You mean when we were talking this morning?
Yeah.
Couple things is I've been in this now months and months, and I was telling her that what I've discovered is I'm basically following program. I'm really hitting the mark each day, but I'll have a little this, a little that, maybe some extra popcorn or something. And what I'm finding is those little things are keeping me held kind of in a maintenance mode. I'm not continuing to lose even a small amount. I just go up and down maybe 0.8, go down maybe 0.8. I'm just in that range. So you really have to dial it in tightly, and that's what I'm planning to do. It's almost like I've been coasting for a while. I'm still doing all my exercise. I'm getting all that in. That's changed a lot, and my body composition has changed, but I want the weight to go down more. And so I'm going to just have to dial in tighter. But those little tweaks that you think, oh, I could do that. Oh, I can add a little this. Oh, I'll have an extra bite. It'll keep you right where you are. So it's been enlightening for me to realize that they all add up, those little bits that I'm allowances. So stick with it if you really want to continue to lose. And then I said that I had heard the saying, it was actually from Weight Watchers long ago, but is if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I thought, how true is that? So today, after talking to her and really wanting just to kind of recommit to myself, I went ahead and I took like 4 of her recipes, wrote down all the ingredients that I knew weren't in the house, and then just went to Trader Joe's and just loaded up with everything, and then made like 3 meals this afternoon so that I have them on board so I can just grab and go. And I realized that grabbing and go is important to me when I have my long hours, when maybe my husband wants to get pizza and I really don't want to do that, but I don't necessarily want to all start cooking maybe on a weekend or something. I can just grab one of those heat and eat kind of things instead of doing fast food. That's my fast food. And it tastes great. And I know that will help keep me on track rather than trying to put together a quick little meal that I still fits the criteria. It's something much more enjoyable and satisfying. That's what I was sharing with her today.
Yeah, and exactly. And I think what's important to say is that Kathy worked really hard for, I think 3-4 months. She had her head in the game, head down, and made great progress. And then it's okay to back off and just kind of be in that maintenance mode. This is part of her everyday life.
Right.
But now, she's going on a big vacation in a couple weeks. She's like, I'm going to put my head down next 3 weeks, maybe even on vacation, be able to continue to keep my head in the game. Going to be very active. She's got her son's wedding coming up. She has goals she still wants to achieve. I mean, you know what? There's no reason to take, like Diana, have an ice cream if you want it. All right? Allow yourself to enjoy. Don't feel like you've blown it. By the way, Diana, you still lost this week, okay? So, you've got to be able to, especially when you've been at it for 6 months, or a year or 30 years, you know what? You got to be able to find the balance. But there's always the goal of continuing to strive to be healthy. And that exercise doesn't go away. It can fluctuate, right, depending on what your life looks like, but it never goes away. And the healthy eating needs to happen the majority of the time.
Yeah.
Samantha, did you have something you wanted to say? You stuck your nose in here. No, she's good. All right.
She's back. She's back. Sam came back.
You're muted. Let's see.
It's my ear. I just can't hear.
Oh, so weird. All right. Anybody else? Cara, you want something? You have something to say? She's tired. She's a East Coaster. All right. Anybody else? A lot of you I can't see. I just see your screens there. If you want to say something, unmute yourself. Otherwise, I'm going to Christine Gregory. Do you want to say something? Let's unmute.
Oh, no, I didn't have anything.
But poor Christine, I was like, where's that bread with that, whatever that meal? That wasn't on my plan. So we learned, right? You learned a little
We
bit.
did. Sorry, I don't. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. It's still showing I'm muted. I wasn't trying to unmute to say anything. Hello, everyone. I'm tired. My brain is mush at this at this hour. I do have a question though. I was looking through recipe ideas through the Facebook page, and I apologize if this is just because it's late and I'm missing this. But what is the My Plate? Is that I have the main thing that you sent. I have it laminated that I keep out. But what's the My Plate one?
For the My Plate, we don't use it too much anymore. We actually are making our own Mama G's plate. But you'll notice on there, it'll say on there that if you have the one that's for 1,600 calories, it talks about that you get five servings of grains, and it says 2 or 3 servings of vegetables, and it says a certain amount of fruit and a certain amount of dairy. That's all been built into the cheat sheet for you. So it's a good one that we use for clients who aren't computer savvy, and we're just trying to get them to try to start to eat more healthfully. We've got you guys on a very specific game plan. We noticed with the experiment that a lot of our clients wanted us to tell us what to eat. And I said, nope, never happening. I don't know what your preferences are. And we kind of dialed it in now with the cheat sheet, right, Christine, where you know that we're asking you to eat a certain number of calories, like I mentioned earlier, that we want you to get those certain number of calories of non-starch, of those starchy grainy carbs. We talk about those certain number of calories of non-starchy veggies. We want you to get in a certain number of servings of dairy because we need to get that calcium in. So the cheat sheet is really a much better version of the My Plate, but we are building a My Plate. Again, it's really mostly for clients that are coming in who are just going from, really unhealthy eating, and they're just trying to grab the basics. But we're giving you a much more refined version of My Plate. Does that help?
Okay. Yep. So this is the one I use, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That is your Bible, the Mama G Lifestyle Bible. All right. Anyone else? All right. It is 7:15. I got to go cook dinner. Samantha B is already eating. Samantha B, what do you have to say?
It sucks because my computer's all messed up, so I can't. Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Samantha B, and you are better for the rest.
And Mama G always says, it's not about what you lose, folks. It's all about what you gain. Have a beautiful night.